Welcome to another episode of Real Talk. Today it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Willam Stokes. Thank you for coming, brother.
No, always
very happy to have you on today. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. Property is going to be a big one. You're doing a lot in the property game in the UK. Entrepreneurship, so it's not just property and buying and selling houses in the traditional sense. It's opening up and using those spaces for innovative things such as the co-creative. And let me just briefly touch on why I wanted you to come down today, bro. You're someone in my network who I've been fortunate enough to first of all work with and serve through the agency. We help run an event for Will and Equagroup, a company that he's associate director for. Associate director for. But in general, we came across each other because of just the common theme of entrepreneurship, British entrepreneurship, and we both, just resonated on the same level. I remember that first conversation we had. So anyway, we'll get into all of that, but it's my pleasure to introduce you to my network and you to my network. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you're working on right now, what are you engaged with, what you're doing, and how you're keeping yourself busy? What's the main thing you got going on?
Cool. So I generally split myself between two kind of areas. The first one you touched on, Equagroup. Second one, co-creative.
Okay, so wait, what's Equagroup?
So Equagroup is commercial residential property development, primarily home counties around the south. So if you looked at the M25, we're kind of south of the M25, from that kind of Colchester belt in Essex, all the way around to kind of Woking, Godalming, those areas in Surrey. We do a little bit in the north, but primarily we try and phase it down south. Mm-hmm. So what we're looking at doing and what we do is we take tired office blocks, buildings that are listed that people aren't looking at, and we go in for PD or for full planning and convert them into apartments, primarily first-time buyers.
Okay.
Any development we do, we typically look for between 15 and 40 apartments in a particular scheme.
Okay.
A, there's no saturation risk, and B, it's just kind of a sweet spot for us. It's where we like to work at.
Okay, so cool. So that's Equagroup. So you're going into, in layman's terms, you're going into unused, they're all unused. Do they have to be unused? Is that one of the criteria?
Not necessarily. I mean, we'll look at any building. For us, at the point where we complete, it will have to be vacant. It has to be vacant. Because obviously that's when we're going to start the strip out, we're going to start the actual refurb works.
Okay, and we're talking about what, from 20 to 30 or 30 to 45 units you want to finish with?
Yeah, typically most of our projects are around 20-25 apartments per scheme.
So these aren't small buildings?
No.
These are decent sized buildings that can house a pretty good amount of people, right?
Yeah, so what we've got we've got one in Hull at the minute, Wright Street. That's 3 5-storey buildings side by side on each other, and they're being converted into 18 apartments, first-time buyers again.
Amazing.
And they're just, we believe they have to be equitable for everybody. We don't want to be a developer that goes in, screws down cost, and creates like a really bad end product.
100%.
So we like to kind of put the money in, put the thinking into it, imagine how people are going to use the space and design it around that, whether it's engineered floors, engineered German kitchens, the lot. We build it all in so that you get a great apartment for your money.
Amazing. All right, cool. How did you get into that? So how did, obviously I know, but for the sake of the people watching, I mean, what's your journey look like from, and we'll get to where you're at right now, obviously with the co-creative and stuff, but what's your journey look like from school, for example, heading into entrepreneurship?
So as per most entrepreneurs, I think it's pretty typical, pretty similar trait. My school days were dreadful. I mean, my final year of GCSEs I had about 32% attendance.
Shit. So you just weren't even there?
I wasn't even there.
Oh my god. I thought you were going to say you couldn't do the exams.
I hated it. And
really?
then somehow I got B's and C's and I got through.
Just pulled it off.
Yeah. And then I went to college, and that's where I kind of really got into it. I was studying what I loved. I loved engineering at the time. And I just kind of followed that route. I went to college. I got a job alongside it working for a company as a design engineer. And off the back of that, when finishing college, I then went on to work for quite a large global energy company in the engineering sector, primarily first of all as a project engineer, and then worked kind of up into a project.
Straight out of college?
Yeah, straight out of college. I was also going to uni, so I went to uni for 1 year and dropped out. And that typical kind of dropout from university.
Dropout success story.
Yeah. Still working on the progress though. So what did it for me, and we were kind of talking about this earlier, was that my role at this company, one of the first roles I had was to train the graduates that came in from university.
Yeah.
They're taking graduate positions.
So wait, so new people who were graduates were coming into the company,
Yeah.
and you, not being a graduate, were the one who was training them.
Yeah, and then I must have been 2 to 3 years younger than those guys.
Okay. And were you getting paid the same? Or?
My salary was bigger than theirs.
Okay.
And that's what switched it for me.
Right.
I thought, if I dedicate myself now and put in the effort with the company, every waking minute,
Yeah.
where I can be above where these guys are coming in is so much further. So for me, it was a logical opportunity to, leave university. I wasn't really feeling the education side. I always want to just
talk to me about that. Why? What's up with the education? What uni was it?
It was Hull.
Hull uni.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what? Why did? So you went to uni probably why? Because it was just an expected thing to do, or?
Yeah, and also because there's this kind of unspoken rule in engineering that you're actually not an engineer until you have a degree.
Wow.
A lot of people won't class you as an engineer until you have a degree.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you'll do the same job alongside them, you just have to pay for the back of it.
Yeah.
And for me, it was looking at that switch and going, I've fallen out of love with this side of things. I want to just get on. I enjoy being in the office. I enjoy being out on site. I enjoy meeting with the clients and the customers.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed all that aspect. And the bit that I didn't like was sitting in a room, listening to a lecture, and having to recite what was said in the lecture in an exam.
And just memorise it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
is what the education system pretty much is.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Why? What drove you to just say, you know what? What was that feeling like when you quit uni? And look, people who are in uni, all the power to you. People who have dropped out, all the power to you. I really don't care what you do, right? So I'm not advocating either. I've got a degree and you haven't got a degree, right? Yeah. But how much, I've used my degree since leaving university is 0.
Yeah.
How much you've used your experience at uni has pretty much been 0 in terms of what we've been successful at doing.
Yeah.
How much of an impact, tell me how much of an impact university education has on your chances of success in the world?
I don't think it impacts it in any way. I think what does impact it is the life experience and how you react in situations. I've got mates that have gone to uni, have these degrees, and they've gone on to have exceptional careers. They're in line to be CEOs, CFOs, real high-end jobs.
Yeah.
And I've got mates that didn't go to uni that are in line for the same things.
Yeah.
And equally, I've got mates that did go to uni, did extremely well, and now struggling, to find a decent job. They're taking graduate roles, they're getting paid nowhere near what they're worth. I think it all depends on the person. It's whatever you feel works for you. Yeah. So I'm not an advocate for dropping out of uni or an advocate for staying at uni. Mm-hmm. I'm an advocate for do what you believe is
You're an advocate for starting the uni.
Yeah.
Buying out the uni.
At least give it a year.
Repurposing those offices.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So talk to me about the co-creative, bro, because obviously this is a new project, newish in terms of, what I think is as a recent project for you.
Yeah.
Talk to me about first of all, the idea. What is it that you're trying to create with the co-creative, and how's it going?
Yeah, cool. It's a bit awkward to talk about a co-working space in a co-working space.
I know, in your competitor's arena.
And they've done a good job. So the co-creative was born through Equagroup actually. So we were looking at buildings that we can convert, and there's typically a rule that any building that's on the high street generally can't go for planning permission for flats. They like to keep that stuff retail or office, that kind of thing. PD doesn't apply on the high street. So I started thinking about these buildings and going, well, with the way the high street's going now, there is a lot of vacant buildings that are coming available. There's one in Lincoln that's just come available, 105,000 square foot.
Is that the House of Fraser?
That's House of Fraser building.
Yeah, I saw you post about that the other day.
So no one's going to take it. So it's looking at, things need to change with these buildings.
Wow.
So for me...
That'll be a big unit.
Yeah, huge.
House of Fraser's huge.
Huge. Yeah.
And they're heading out.
Heading out. Yeah.
Retail's dying.
19 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, and they leave in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you, I can see you drooling like a dog ready to go. Yeah, they go in. Yeah, they've been there 19 years. It's a big space. See, this is what I love. I see the excitement in your demeanour, knowing that this opportunity is coming up, and it needs somebody like you to figure out how can we make valuable use out of this for the community, because there's nothing closer related to people than property, because everybody needs it. whether you're homeless or not, you're going to go somewhere where you're going to have shelter and drink and eat and share experiences.
We spend most of our life, that when it isn't in the car, it's in some form of property. It's either in a building for work, it's either in a place where we go to eat, it's either in a shop when we go shopping or when we're at home. It's always property based. It's the fundamental of land ownership.
100%.
So
it's definitely a good bet to get involved with.
I think so. 100%.
Okay, cool.
I think
so with the co-creative, so it's a co-working space?
Yes,
right?
so we're a co-working space and service office space.
Yeah.
So we're looking at kind of high street locations, city centre primarily, also looking at outer boroughs, and looking at taking these buildings that are available, nobody's touching, and turning them into almost what we're in here, a serviced office and a co-working space.
Yeah.
But where we like to build it around is community. Yeah. So we want all our members to know every other member.
Yeah.
We want them to know, right, if I need a graphic designer, there's a graphic designer there.
Yes.
If I need some copywriting, there's a copywriter there.
Yeah.
If I need something with social media, how many people in here know what you do?
Yeah.
It's making sure that everybody knows what everybody does, and we can create this economy of skill sets.
That's amazing. And what's the long term benefit of that? Having that community, is it to keep tenants obviously in there and using the offices longer because they know they've got support? Is it more than just giving somebody a membership to a space? And how do you? So what we're talking about here is added value, right? You're not just saying, look, here's a room for you to go do your work in, and here's an internet password. You can get that at a coffee shop.
That's
right. So how do you add value? Obviously, that's one way. How do people add value to any business, but in particularly the way that you've done it for the co-creative?
Yeah. So me and my business partner, Co-Creative, we're massive advocates of supporting local business and supporting young people that are getting into business. There's a buzzword of entrepreneurship. There's a rise of entrepreneurship. And a lot of people can see the benefits rather than go and sit in an office for 40 years and then retire.
100%.
So what we want to do is enable people to get into that position, whether it's through a low cost space, where they can enter the market, whether it's business support through our network, whether it's connecting them with the right people in the space. We try not to get businesses all at the same stage. We like to have a mixture of people, some early stage, some that are going through Series A, Series B funding, those kind of areas, so that everybody can pull each other up. Because I think once you get around people that share your mindset, that share your vision, that share your drive, the only way you can go is up.
100%. So let's talk about that. You're a big advocate for self-development. You're a big advocate for reading. If you can say that, just like myself. It's very rare I'll go a week without seeing you post something on your story about a new book or about something that you've just read, which has obviously had an impact. How important, so you've dropped out of uni, but your education, I'd say, has probably never stopped.
I mean, there's this kind of bridge between formal education and self-education.
Okay.
And I think
what's the difference?
The formal education is your typical classroom setting, regimented topics that you're going to learn. If you look back at uni and I look back at uni, there was probably 2 modules out of 20 that actually applied to what I wanted to do. But you have to learn all that other stuff around it. Whereas the personal development, you can learn a skill set that you want to learn. I never valued sales as a area of study. Nothing that ever I thought about. I imagined it was slick kind of car salesman, that kind of thing. And as I've kind of got into this journey, I've realised that sales is fundamental in selling yourself, in selling what you do. And actually, it's probably the most crucial life skill that you can have.
Holy shit! I didn't think you were going to drop that. The S-bomb.
It is though, and it's never something that you were taught. Never. I don't remember being at school or at uni and being taught how to manage a P&L.
I want to get a degree in sales.
Exactly.
I mean, that would be the future, I think, because they're going to have to diversify those subjects. But no, I agree. We've never actually even really talked about sales, apart from obviously ticket sales to events.
Exactly.
And you guys weren't even pitching a project at that event, so it was just purely for, again, it goes back
just content.
It's for the community. Again, you were just serving the community. And I said when we worked together, I was like, to you and Mark, who's your uncle, you guys aren't pitching a product or a project or an investment or anything at this event. And almost every event that we run, we have an end return on investment goal for sales, right? And that's why it never seemed like anything was more important than building the community and giving value in the Equagroup mindset, and then obviously that's translated now to the co-creative.
Yeah. At Equagroup, actually, Equa stands for equitability, and our whole premise is built around shared value.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, that's a slogan. Yeah, exactly. So, what kind of aspects of sales? Because even I wasn't thinking that we were going to talk about sales, but you know me, I fucking love sales.
I know.
It is such an art, right? And the way that I look at sales, because like you said, everyone relates sales, and again, I never knew how important sales was growing up. My degree was in media, right? I didn't give a shit about sales, but I was playing basketball at the same time. So I thought, what's the easiest degree I can do whilst playing on this basketball scholarship? Music and sonic media, right? And it's only when obviously I went into recruitment and I started seeing lead generation at its coldest, and essentially what we were doing was selling every day. We're selling a role, we're selling the person to the role, to the employer. But then when I started the agency, I realised the only thing that's going to differentiate me from having a business and not having a business is being able to sell, right? And being able to convince somebody of the value you can bring. And this is the way that I reframe a lot of people's mindset on sales, because no one wants to talk about it.
100%.
No, apart from behind those closed doors in those meetings that me and you'd have behind an event saying, what was the revenue, right? We wouldn't put it out there on the stage that we need to hit 20 grand today. Who's buying, right? And I look at it as, if you're not comfortable selling, or if you've got a negative, impression of selling to a prospect, right? The actual impact of that is your prospect doesn't get the solution to their problem, which means you've actually added no value to them because you couldn't communicate well enough to influence and persuade them to something that would help their life. And obviously, the bad connotations of sales come from the people who are selling stuff that people don't actually need. But selling as a principle is massive for business success. What about, in terms of sales? So you're mentioning sales, not in the context of, buy this, but you're selling yourself. What other ways are you using sales?
Selling, fundamentally, with tenants or members for the co-creative, we call them members. We have to almost sell that space to them. Of course. Why are you going to join this place over another service provider? Well, this is what we do. We believe in, having one fixed, transparent cost. And I think you have 4 options then. You can almost go, okay, well, I'm going to give you everything for that. I'm going to give you less for that. Or I'm going to give you more for that. Or the 4th one, which people don't talk about, is I'm going to increase the amount that you get for that sum. So much so that you don't even think about the competition.
That's a no-brainer. So you're talking about creating a deal which is a no-brainer, which they can't refuse.
A win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even in that case, it sounds like a double win for them and just a win for you because you get to serve them. Amazing. Let's talk about the event side of things, because this is something that you guys have leveraged incredibly well. So you had the Brooklands networking events, which were essentially networking events set up by property, was it PPN?
Yeah, so it was the Progressive Property franchise for the event, and then we ran Brooklands PPN for 15 months.
What was the advantage? Was it only 15 months?
Yeah, 15 months. Yeah.
You got a lot done in
17 months. 17 months. Yeah, one off. A year and a half, so 17 months.
It seemed like it was a lot. You've got so many events done.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the advantage of running events? How important is events and bringing people together? To look, because there's been a lot that's come off those events, right? What's the advantage of running events for your business, even though you're not an events company?
We're not, and I think that's where we kind of really set it apart. We meet guys that do events, and if you have an events business, brilliant, nothing against that. But we never saw it as an events business. We never saw it as a P&L on its own. We saw it as a marketing line within Equagroup. And it wasn't a marketing line as in such of like, this is who we are, this is who we are, this is who we are, ram it down your throat, that jab, right hook. It was almost this is who we are, this is what we do. If you want to learn a bit more about what we do, we talk about it in the evening. We want to get in, massive speakers. We had a guy from Tesla, Bjorgel, the UK CEO. We had Daniel Priestley. There's some amazing names that came to that location and spoke. And for us, it was about just giving content. And off the back of that, we met so many great people that we have relationships with now. We look at joint ventures with. It was always for us about building a community and about uniting people together with this thing of property.
And what are some of the things that have come off the back of that?
Well, there's the things that, there's obviously been private investment that we've kind of got off the back of that, although it's not been our primary target.
Yeah, I know that. Even though I was trying to say, guys, let me make a product for you to sell. We're going to close some good deals on this. Even when I was sitting in the audience, this is the thing that I said to Mark after the event. I was like, even with the people on my table at that event, I was literally speaking to them and networking with them all day. And these guys literally came with the intention of investing in something. Not like an educational product per se, but an investment of a project or an opportunity. And it literally, if you did present it, they would have bit your arm off. Yeah. But again, it seems as though there's no rush for you guys. No. And there's no rush to drive growth from those events.
We love what we do on the property side. We all live and breathe it. We've got 9 projects on at the minute, so we're just stacked out with these projects, and we absolutely love it. We try and do 200 plus apartments a year. Yeah. The event side is almost the fun bit for us. It's the bit where we get to talk about what we do because we love it so much. We get to add value to others. Yeah. Because I think we all believe this. There's an abundance mindset. Yeah. We don't think in a scarce mindset. We don't think, oh, somebody's bid on that property as well, and have a panic. We just think there's so much out there for everybody. It's going back to that analogy earlier, we're only going to grow together. We're only going to go up. We're only going to pull each other.
Talk to me about, I'm not sure if you guys are doing ventures abroad. What's the opportunity like in the UK as opposed to going abroad? Are you guys abroad right now?
No.
So you're not doing developments anywhere but domestic?
UK, yeah.
Okay, so why is that?
We want to keep everything local to us for quality of life. That's what drives it. It's why primarily everything's in the south. Yeah. We want it to be all local, all around us. There's enough around us to make a decent living from. Yeah. So we want everything to be kind of local, so we're not travelling up and down. Yeah. I've come here today from Lincoln. Yeah. I was over in Crewe this morning. Well, once that development's done, we'll never do another development over there again. Yeah. Because it's too far out of the way.
Yeah. Okay. We
just want things to be local.
Well, don't you think you're missing an opportunity out in Europe? Asia.
I think you can easily, and there will be people that go out there and do stuff and it will work so well. Yeah. But for what we like to do and for what we're doing now, our marketplace is fine for us at the minute.
Yeah. So
it's not something we might not look at in the future. Okay. But as it stands right now, there's plenty for us.
Okay. Cool. All right. So that's the event side of things. Something that I didn't say that I was going to speak to you about today was balancing all of these projects. You've got 9 projects. Obviously, we know the scale of these projects. You're probably doing 30, 40 on average per place or whatever it is. It takes a lot of management, it takes a big organisation structure to achieve what you guys are achieving. As well as the co-creative, as well as sourcing new sites, as well as dealing with your network. I'm sure opportunities keep flying into your inbox and people say, look, have a look. Like that project I sent you. Yeah. So I sent this guy some properties I was trying to sell to get your opinion. Didn't get a response for 2 days, 2
days? I think it was longer than that.
Longer? Yeah, maybe that was Mark, that took 2 days. And that was after I resent. Look, Mark, have a look at these properties, tell me what you think. Are they worth what they're worth? You know what I mean? But there's some decent plots. Anyway.
Nice.
How do you balance all of that? All of the entrepreneurship with the relationship that you seem very committed to?
Yeah, I think...
You see? I don't know if your missus would say that.
No. We've been together 6 years on the first, 5 days, 6 years?
I want to talk to that.
That's
what you walked in.
And I always say I couldn't do it without her, and her support there is incredible, and she gets it, she understands the process, she understands what we're driving for. She's not like, spend time with me, because she recognises that we're both in this for the long game, and that, we need to put in the work over the next few years, but where it's going to take us is beyond where anyone can imagine.
Where is that? So what is the end goal?
So the end goal for me, where I want to get to is venture capitalism. So I want to be a venture capitalist. I want to start a VC fund. Yeah. I want to give back in the sense of investing in young entrepreneurs, people that need that help, almost like we did. Yeah. People that need that help up to the next stage. Yeah. That's where I really want to get towards, and with a speciality towards the healthcare sector. Okay. I have this vision where I think as a lot of people get older, and I see this in members of my family personally, once you get to above 75, are you allowed to swear on this?
Oh, hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
So once you get
to swear. Do what you want, bro. It's your show.
Life gets a bit shitty, The reality is it does, there's these diseases, Alzheimer's, there's all these things. Yeah. So I have this vision for a world where we don't have any of those diseases, we eradicate those. So from the point that we are now up to the age of 85, 95, we have a really good quality of life. And we don't have to worry about, I'm going to be in a wheelchair.
And who are the people who are going to help solve these problems? These are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Who are going to solutions.
And I think, and you touched on this, I think a massive thing about being an entrepreneur is being self-aware. Yeah. And I'm self-aware enough to know that my brain capacity doesn't cover anything like that. Where my brain capacity is building the systems, building the background stuff, property related, that stuff all works great for me. But actually thinking of a concept of, how's this going to be? My engineering background will come in, but I just can't concentrate.
The creative side is where you need that assistance. It's the same with any project or business. You need support, and you're selling the opportunity. You're selling an opportunity to somebody to come and help you and support this vision, and that's why we have to tie them into this vision. Why? I mean, is there a reason why mental health or those kind of conditions? I mean, have you had experience personally where these kind of things have affected you?
Yeah.
So where's that passion? Because obviously that's a very niche. It's a massive area, but for you to say, look, I don't just want to invest in companies and make a shitload of money. I want to work with people who can help eradicate diseases and enable a longer, healthier life.
I think what the world needs now is people that are going to drive humanity forward. You can easily get caught up in, and I think it's a big inspiration to everybody, but look at someone like Elon Musk, who has revolutionised the electric car. He's taken a concept and he has made it sexy, to be fair. Those Teslas look amazing, and that Roadster, Jesus.
I've never been in one. I don't think
they're out yet, but when they do come out, mental. And people that have this vision and have the ability to take it forward and boost forward humanity, that's where I think we all need to get towards. Because when you take a step back and you actually look at things, you start to wonder, well, what is the purpose behind everything? We're sat here right now, we're having a chat, we're both in business, we're both doing big things, but unless there's a purpose behind it and a why to drive it, there's no point in doing what we do, I don't believe.
Yeah, and I think you'd agree that it comes down to the impact that you want to have during this really short life, 100%. Right, which is just fleeting every single second. We're losing life. We're dying out here. That's what someone said. We're dying every single day. 100%. What are you doing on these days that you're dying out here? It's a really, really critical thing. And again, it comes down to entrepreneurship. And people think, obviously capitalism drives a ton of change in the world, right? Because it has to be a win-win. Whoever's investing and giving something, they're going to want to win from that deal as well. But behind that capitalism and entrepreneurship, there is just essentially people solving problems, right? Which is what you want to grow to a state where you have the liquidity and the flexibility to even if it's not your own, to raise those funds in a fund to help obviously fulfill that vision, which is it's a fucking great vision.
It's good.
Shit, I didn't even know. You keep throwing these curveballs today, right?
To touch on to your question a minute ago, I didn't really fully answer it, but the whole how do you balance everything?
Yes.
I'm very fortunate that...
Wait, let me just give a summary of your answer to today. She asks me for nothing, no time. I don't see it. Great strategy over 6 years.
She's good. But if the co-creative and Equagroup weren't so similarly linked in the fact that they're both property based, they're both looking at similar assets, I think I'd struggle a lot more. But because they're so, of the same thought process, it's easy that I can balance it. Okay. If I was doing property and on the other side, I was doing something like day trading or something like that, I couldn't do it because your mind is just all over the place. You have to have that focus.
So how important is focus?
Oh, it's absolutely crucial. It's crucial.
How do you achieve and maintain consistent focus on a project? Maybe there's, look, no doubt there's hundreds of things that have gone wrong in the property development game, commercial development game. You might see a project and think, you know what, this is taking much longer than it's supposed to. Licenses, regulations might come in where you thought we had that sorted. This is me, brain dumping. But how do you consistently maintain focus when things aren't going your way?
Yeah, you have to just completely reevaluate it all. There's an analogy that when an aeroplane is in the sky, it's only on course 8% of the time. I think the statistic is 8% of the time. The rest of the time it's off course and it's diverting back on. And that's how entrepreneurship and that's how property and business is. You're never on target, but as long as you keep balance and you keep focus, you remember the reasons why you're doing it, You know, it might take 6 months longer, but as long as you're still driving towards that end goal, it all makes sense.
Bro, oh, what a quote! I love analogies, bro.
It's a good one.
I couldn't even repeat that, but that is so good. That is so good. You know what? Drop it in the comments if that's even accurate. 8% of the time.
Check that.
Shit, we could be getting there much quicker. We got left, right, centre. I went on holiday a couple of weeks ago. Jesus Christ. Completely agree though. That is such a good analogy because you never know what you might learn over here until then you come back and then you go forwards and you come out here and you learn something else. And I think that's so true, and it ties into the development angle as well. What you just said to me is you don't have to be dead set on being 100% on the route that you think you should be on, because it's never going to work. 100%. You're going to have diversions, and it's an advantage to have those, right?
As long as you focus on that target. Like this morning, driving over to Crewe, the road that I normally take was closed, so I had to divert off, go through all these little villages, got to the same destination, but I saw all this other stuff. You know, you learn that.
You might come up on a new site.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
You know, so as long as you keep focused on that target and you get there, it doesn't matter which journey you take.
Cool. Talk to me about some of the entrepreneurs. So I know obviously, you know, a few of the guys who you follow.
Yep.
Talk to me about some of the key figures that you do or you don't know who are having an influence and had a positive or negative. It's always a bit of both, isn't it?
I think there is, yeah, and I think there's a generic ones, you know, your Gary V's, your Grant Cardone's. Grant Cardone's a massive inspiration to me for the property side, and I'm guessing from the sales side.
Exactly.
So he's, you know,
no, but the reason why I just pointed out that is because obviously I ask this question fairly often, and Grant keeps coming up trumps.
Yeah.
Everyone says, yeah, we don't know Gary V, you know this, that, but because Grant is so niche to what he does, property and sales. And he's so much like a dog with a bone on those subjects. He's resonating really, really well with everybody who's coming into contact. Well, not necessarily everybody, but
a friend of mine is mentored by him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Was that the dude who keeps jumping on Facebook Live?
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah. You know, I want to get Matt on here.
Get Matt.
I like what Matt's doing. He's going hard.
Matt's going hard. He used to work in London like you did.
Yeah.
He used to work for a, I think it was a big hedge fund. He was like risk analysis, and he like hated it, loved property inside.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him. I know I've got him on social media, but
if you want his contact, let me know.
Yeah, I've got him on social media. I see his Facebook Live all the time. Alright, we'll check that out. Alright, so Grant Cardone, what do you like about Grant and what he's doing?
Grant Cardone, because his story is just absolutely right. You know, he's put in the hard work. He did a book, If You're Not First, You're Last, and I've always believed in that methodology. I've always believed you've got to be first, you know, whether it's first one at the door, whether it's, you know, if you're working a corporate job like I did, and you have to do at some point. You know, if you start now at 8 till 5, be there at 7:30, leave at 5:30. That stuff won't go unnoticed. It
won't go unnoticed. Somebody came today, had a meeting today with a young consultant, told to get here for 12 o'clock. I had a call at 11, I jumped on the call, and then the reception desk sent me an email to say he's here, 10 past 11.
Wow.
Ready to go. Ready for the opportunity. Shout out to Cash. Good shit, brother.
Way to be.
Who else? So you got
what's his last name?
Cash, Joshy. Does he follow you? You must do.
Not the same guy, I don't think.
No. Alright, anyway.
Cool.
Who else? We got Gary V, obviously we've got the headline acts. Anyone else that's really...
Do you know what?
What about authors? You can talk about authors.
There is somebody that I semi-look up to, and not for where he is now, but for his real estate experience, and he's controversial as hell.
Who's it?
And it's Donald Trump. And it is controversial, but in terms of what he has built, property-wise, it is a mega.
The Art of the Deal. I read that book back to back to back to back.
Have you read The Art of the Comeback?
No.
So
I don't want to read anything written by Donald Trump anymore.
No. Honestly, The Art of the Comeback was written. It's a follow-up.
He's writing it right now, isn't he?
It was written
to save his brand.
Literally just after he came back off the brink of bankruptcy.
Yeah. Well, he's been bankrupt what, 4 times, 3 times?
This was like their last major time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What about Donald Trump now? But seriously, no, because before he became president and he got all of the look, the marketing, it was all his marketing campaign, and it worked.
Yeah.
He polarized people, which is what you want to do. You don't want to please everyone. You want to niche down on your audience and have them. And from a marketing perspective, all I can do is say his campaign manager smashed it. I think it's Roger Stone.
But did you see though, like? Research it and just check the figures, but I think he had like a 9 billion net worth before running for president, and when he finished, he had 3.9.
Wow.
He lost billions.
He was spending over 300 million on Facebook ads per day in the last weeks of his campaign. 300 million a day.
Wow.
Unbelievable. But anyway, talk to me about some of the traits. Donald Trump, look, I can sense the headline coming for this video already. Donald Trump.
Yeah. And I'm not supporting anyway.
So you don't support Donald Trump on all of his views, but he's got some great principles for success and achieving.
And
what are those?
And the thing that people don't realise about Donald Trump, the reason Donald Trump was so successful is because of his father, Fred Trump.
Yeah.
His dad, was the real influence.
Yeah, and he gave him a loan of $1 million, he said.
I think it was a lot more than $1 million,
oh, really?
if I'm honest. Just kind of hearsay. But, he had a massive portfolio. We focused on low-income housing, LHA, as you would kind of in the UK. Yeah. And he built a monopoly on that kind of thing. The same as Gary Vee's father, who kind of built the wine business from the start, and Gary Vee kind of took it on, took it further. I think that stuff doesn't go unmissed, but I think what you have is you have business fundamentals that you learn, and you would have learned them. If me and you go bankrupt tomorrow, we can come back the next day and we know that we can do it again. Those skills can't be taken. The financial aspect is separate. There's a guy that we both know, and you would have met him as well, and I call it his name effect. I don't know if I should name drop him or not, but he did the similar thing. He went bankrupt, he came back, and his net worth now is insane, and he's an incredible guy. And
oh no, you don't know. Yeah, don't need to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just
so that's what I said. This is what I said to someone recently, because so many people, and this is a question I'll push out to you guys: is it better to have it and lose it, or to never have it at all? Because people who achieve great success and massive growth, often they retract and they retrace because they make so many mistakes when they get there. Someone in my family made substantial amounts of gains. They sold companies, they bought companies, took companies public, and then it didn't continue that ascension, right? Things went wrong. And the thing I always say is, look, who's more likely to do something, which is, let's say we're trying to grow a company or sell a company, the guy who's done it before and lost it, or the guy who's never done it at all? It's the guy who's done it. He knows how to do it, he's done it once. You can bet on him again and again, even if he goes up and down. Yeah. Success doesn't just evaporate. It's a mindset.
It's why so many people invested in Tesla and backed it. If you look at what he did with PayPal, Elon Musk sort of sold that for like 180 million, put it into those 3 businesses. Couldn't afford his own rent because he literally invested every single penny. But when you take somebody that has that mindset, that's just so driven, that's so focused, and the entire backstory behind it, it's incredible. There's a book called...
Give me a recommendation, give the people a recommendation. Man. What is the one book?
What is it called?
I know you mentioned GCs, if you're not first, you're last. What is the one book? If somebody's never picking up books, or if somebody's a continuous reader but not a doer, what should they be reading right now to help them?
Well, I think the two key ones are, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
First one I read.
Robert Kiyosaki. Those
the second one I read.
Like major keys. I read them they're like major keys, but there's
wait, let's say that. So Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, big. It's a fucking read and a half, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If you don't use Audible.
Yeah, listen to it. I recommend listening to it. I would be sitting there. I read it, but.
If
I should have listened to it, but I read it so long ago. I don't think I could have listened to it. It's an old book as well, written a long time ago. And then the second book, we're talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
I think.
Yeah, it's a tough one to remember.
And then I think the third one would be How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie.
Big. But alright, if you have to pick one.
Let's pick one.
Those 3.
What is my favourite book? No, that's not even one of my favourites.
Give me the one. Alright, then everyone's
up.
Give me the one.
What is the favourite? Do you know what? There's so many. It's mental.
Just give me one. Plug one right now.
Black Box Thinking.
Black Box
Matthew
Thinking.
Slide.
I haven't read that.
I think it's Matthew Slide.
What's that about?
Yeah. So it's about how when you have an airplane, you have a black box. So if anything goes wrong, you can always recover that data. And it's how people learn from previous experiences and how that stuff is taken forward. And how your mindset is in certain moments. So for instance, one of the examples was an aircraft, and the guy was flying the aircraft, and he went to put down the wheels to land the plane, and the light didn't come on. So he was panicking. Oh, are the wheels down? What's happening? And in that moment, time was flying by so fast and he was oblivious to it. And in the end, it turned out that the light bulb wasn't working. The stuff was down, but he'd lost track of it all completely and went to the side of the mountain, ran out of fuel, crashed, killed 200 odd people. And it all came about because in that kind of private environment, there's this thing where you don't question the people that are above you. So they put in regulations and rules now that you always question the guy that's above you. You know, because the stewardess or whoever it was that was in there, the co-pilot, didn't have the authority as such in this perceived hierarchy to question the other guy's decisions. So he didn't, you know, and if he had done, he would have said, you know, we're running out of fuel, do this, we need to stand.
Yeah, so it makes sense. You have to learn from past experience. You've got to question everything.
100%.
Check that out. That's the black box income.
Black box thinking.
Thinking. Oh, so the black box income.
No thinking.
I thought, how are we going to make money from this black box? Where's this black box? On that note, we're going to, on that low tone of 200 deaths, we're going to have to, and Donald Trump, of course.
Donald Trump, that's not going to live.
This is spicy.
That's going to be the snippet.
This interview became a very spicy interview very quickly.
That's going to be the clickbait.
That's the thumbnail. Look, do you agree with what this gentleman has had to say on my right hand side? Donald Trump, is he a great businessman or is he just a knob? You know, it's tough to figure out.
Well, I didn't say he was a great businessman.
Alright, what is your stance? I need clarity on this.
I said there's a lot of principles that you can learn from him, you know. Would I want to be Donald Trump in the boardroom? No. You know, I'm not about to go start waving it around, showing I've got the biggest go out, I've got to be a dick with people. I don't like that premise, but I think, you know, when you look at where he's come from to where he's gone to, there's something there that he has, and he's done something with it, you know.
Do you agree with that? That's what
that's the premise.
But don't retrace too hard, Will. Don't retrace too hard. I need some clickbait to be going down. Alright, so Donald Trump property. Look, we've talked about a few things, right? One thing I will tell you is this guy is the real deal. We literally jumped on a call, we spoke about marketing, Facebook ads. I was at my house, I remember where I was when I had that conversation. Just a great conversation, and that was the moment you entered my network and my inner circle. It was great.
And we'd seen each other on Facebook for months before that.
Had we?
I'd been engaging with your stuff for ages, you like mine.
Definitely. So,
and I don't know if you remember, sorry, I might
go for it.
Off your ending. We both said on that call, let's keep our eyes open and see where there's something we can work together. And then whatever it was, 3-4 months later, this project came up, we had the chat. I was stood in the garden centre taking my mum and Jess out for lunch.
Oh, I remember.
I had my headphones in, like taking this conference call with you and Mark for like 30 minutes. And we just bottomed it out there. And we made it and we did it.
So look, you never know where opportunity is going to come from. Just keep connecting with people, the value out there. If you are a nobody, right? If you don't know anybody, if you have no skills, if you are just weak, right? There's people out there who can help you and guide you and inspire you. Bro, you inspire me massively, because when I got insight and exposure to what the project, you know, through the project we worked on together, everything that you guys are working on, and obviously the back end stuff, and all the products and stuff you guys have set up, the mentoring side of things, immediately ideas are flying in my head thinking, wow, this is a slick operation, and it's growing massively because you're giving so much value. And that's where I took inspiration from. Go out there, connect with people, hit them up on social media. Definitely go follow this guy, because look, man, the best thing about this, Will, 10 years from now we're going to look back on this interview from the yacht. Your yacht or my yacht. Well, let's say this is the co-yacht club. The co-yacht club. Co-working on yachts for inspiration. And we'll be able to see how far we've come, even though, you know, we've come so far already, you know, and there's so many parallels in our journeys. I'm so excited to see all of the stuff that you're going to be developing over the next 3, 6, 2, whatever it is, you know, 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is. And look, I really want to invite you back, you know, in 6, 7 months, and touch base, and look, you can give another recommendation. And maybe another stance on your Donald Trump. Well, you're going to have a response. You're going to have to make a response video.
I'm going to go for the comments.
Aaron, can you take the video down?
Can you edit that?
Let us know your thoughts. For now, take care. See you on the next one.